when it got away from talking about Seattle, everybody else was talking about Shohei Ohtani, obviously, and the fans in the great city of Seattle were chanting, come to Seattle, essentially, as is the fan base in every other major league city that has even a sniff of signing this guy when he becomes a free agent. What do you make of this incredible clamoring for Shohei? And I guess, beyond that, what do you make of the Angels situation with this incredible decision to be made about whether you trade him and get some assets or allow him to walk to free agency for nothing?
Well, I think you look at the dynamic it set up last year. Artie Moreno, the owner of the Angels, he had put them on the market. All of a sudden, he drew it back. And I think he drew it back because he wanted to make a run at Shohei Ohtani and make him the face of the franchise for years to come. Right now, it's Mike Trout. He's a little younger version of that, but that duo would be unbelievable. The Angels are a better team this year than they were a year ago. That being said, with that division, with Houston in that division, with Texas making those upgrades, Seattle still has pitching. They've underachieved to this point in the season, but it's going to be really tough for the Angels, I think, to let alone win the division, to get a playoff seed. I just don't think it's going to happen this year. But Shohei Ohtani, he continues to be the talk of baseball. Once I opened up with the guys that I got to see, past, current, present, everybody's talking about Shohei Ohtani. And we all can't believe what he's doing. Not only is he doing it on both sides of the ball, he's doing it at the level he's doing it at. He's a number one starter and a three-hole hitter, which we never thought we'd see in our lifetimes, and he's doing it. The only thing to me that concerns me a little bit, and if I were an owner, it would concern me with how long can this keep up? Right. How long can you play at such an unbelievable pace? Because it's going to cost, whatever it costs. It's not going to be a matter of the money. It's going to be $600 million plus, and probably north of that. It's going to come down to where does Shohei want to play. The people in Anaheim, the people in Southern California love him. It's an unbelievable place to live. It's a great ballpark. He's obviously very comfortable in that ballpark, hitting and pitching. That has a lot to do with it. For me as a player, if I'm a free agent, I pick the cities that I really do well. I see the ball well. I like playing at the facility. That all goes into my decision. And then, of course, the money factor's there. If he goes to Seattle, it's zero tax. I know nobody's thinking about that right now. That's a lot of millions that you save by playing in Seattle.
Yep.
It's going to come down to where he's comfortable. Of course, he wants to win, a World Series. We all do. That's why we play this game. But it's going to be interesting as we go down this road and get closer to the trade deadline, and then get into the playoff races. But like I said, I don't think the Angels this year, I don't think it's in the cards for them to get to that postseason. That American League East is so good. I think you're going to see 3 teams come out of there, 2 out of the West and 1 in the Central. And I just don't think the Angels can match up personnel-wise to the Houston Astros, to the Texas Rangers, and even the Seattle Mariners.
When it comes to Ohtani, though, do you think that there's a team in the AL East that have a chance at swooning him? I mean, I'm in a market that would love to hear it.
Well, I think so. I think the Yankees are going to go after him. The typical people you think would. The Yankees, the Red Sox. I don't know if the Blue Jays would. I think the Mets, with Cohen being the owner, of course he wants Shohei Ohtani in the Big Apple, without a doubt.
Naturally.
I don't know. It's going to come down to what does he want to do? How much of an influence is Ichiro and his footprint that he established in the States, starting 20-some-odd years ago? Ichiro was the biggest thing in the world. He started in Seattle. Does that have anything to do with it? Is he talking to Ichiro saying, hey, what was it like? Seattle's a great place. It's a great place to raise a family. It's a beautiful city. The winters, you can go somewhere else because those winters are tough. But it's a great city, and if and when they win, it's unbelievable. I lived it in the early 2000s. It was like a rock concert every night, but you got to win to get the fans to come out. But the fans in Seattle, if the Mariners are a contender year in and year out, they will come. So it's a fun place to play. Who knows? I'm thinking about this all because I've been asked that question a lot about Shohei Ohtani.
Of course.
And I'm thinking my favorite place to play was Anaheim Stadium. That was my favorite place. I mean, I could be 0 for 20 And if I saw on that schedule we're going to Anaheim, I know I'm getting some hits. So obviously he feels the same way. So that has a lot to do with going into your decision. People don't think about that, but it definitely does.